we have bigger fish to fry regarding the globe than Ukraine.
Absolutely.
We have
Absolutely.
way bigger issues. So to me,
Absolutely.
it's time to okay, and I've
Right. I
always
mean,
argued, for better or for
Hey,
worse,
I have a
it's a
lime
civil
twist
war.
for you. I have a spritzer here. I have a lime twist for you.
All right.
So you know who worries about this more than you, Pete? It's the Russians. Here's
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. The Russians, if let's say the entire
Mm.
contact line folded right now, the Russians and the Russian generals would be sitting there going, "Oh shit.
Right.
We don't want the whole
Right.
thing. We
Right.
do not want an
Exactly.
insurgency for the rest of our lives.
And
We
that's what they're
only
going to get
want,
if they, right.
yeah,
Right.
that's right. They
Exactly.
want they want up to the river and they don't want to go beyond the river.
Right.
That's
Yep.
where they want,
Right.
and they
Yep.
don't want anything else because they understand they'll be in a gunfight for the rest of their lives
Right.
forever.
Right.
And so the Russians themselves are like, we don't want it. We
Yeah.
don't want it. We're telling you, stay out of NATO. You can't have a much of a military, and we'll all just be fine. We'll all be okay.
Right.
But we do not want. And so then you have the neocons who are like, oh, the Russians, you know, after here, they're going to London, and it's like, I think this is terrible because it's going to be so controversial. If Putin were running London, it would go a little better.
Yeah,
I you're not
Blaine,
wrong.
but
You're
Blaine,
not wrong.
Blaine,
You're
Yeah,
not
I'm
wrong.
not wrong. I'm not
My
wrong.
dear general, my dear general.
Yes, yes.
If the Marx Brothers were running London, it would be better.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, Pete, I have no counter. There's no counter to this. Actually, I have a little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel next to me. Her name is Remy. She's 1 year old. She could run London better than Sadiq
There
could.
you go. There you go.
That's right. That's right. Well,
But
I think. Go ahead, Pete.
I would add just one thought because it dovetails with what you just your emphatic statement there, Tony, which is we have a whole lot of bigger fish to fry around the world.
We do.
And one of the other pieces of that is something that Winston Churchill, not exactly the kind of guy who shied away from a fight, right? Winston Churchill was also the guy who, in the late 1950s, said several times that the great powers, he meant the United States and the Soviet Union, but United States and Russia, it's the same thing. Both the big nuclear powers, the great powers must never fight.
Yes.
And this whole idea that somehow that you hear some of these people talking about, we've got to square off against the Russians. No, no, we don't. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
They have 5,000 nuclear weapons. We don't want to push this thing. We don't want to escalate. Everybody needs to smile and step back.
But Pete, the Europeans have said constantly, and Kaja Kallas just said it within the last, I think, 72 hours.
Kaya
Well, we
calls
were
the fourth
hoping,
grader
yeah,
mentally.
we were,
Yeah,
well, we were hoping that we would break the Russia Republic up.
yeah.
It's like, dude,
Where did
seriously.
they get those people at the EU? The whole bunch of them are clueless. They're
Well,
like
she's
like
Yeah.
Estonian, so I think
it's
she's
like
like
listening to
nuts.
like a high school
The
I mean it's just
Model United
yeah.
Nations.
Hey,
yeah.
hey, Kaya. Napoleon had twice your IQ, and he thought he could do
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing, and this will be very controversial. And I think if you're going to have a popular podcast, you should be controversial. And so I'll just say this:
Yeah.
um, when the Chinese need till April to get their crap sorted out, they're gonna finally admit that Xi Jinping is no longer in charge of China. A guy named Hu Chunhua is. He's a reformist, and that they're going to play ball. That is going to happen. They're on that track, but they want us all to keep out of their crap until they get this stuff sorted out because they've got some really bad stuff going on in China.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. And then there's this thing called Russia. Russia wants access to the world economy again, and they'd really love a relationship with the United States that looks more akin to 1867 when we were all just doing just fine together. And then you have this thing called Europe that is rolling back civil rights at lightning speed everywhere you turn. And so when we talk about security, prosperity, and values, the three-legged stool that is NATO, it's gone. All of them, all three are
Yeah.
gone. So,
Yeah.
so then I will tell you about this thing that I see over the horizon called the arc. Not BRICS, not NATO, the arc. And it's America, Russia, China. And I hate to tell you this, but with 75 trillion in assets in Russia, with China being the world's largest exporter and the United States being the world's largest consumer, that is what the world order looks like, not Klaus Schwab's view of it.
Well, the Europeans have had an oversized self-importance perspective. As far as I went to high school in Lisbon, is like you Europeans are all kind of at, oh, we're going to put
Well,
together the EU. It's
self-licking
like,
ice cream cone is what I like to say.
uh,
I would though I would caution that there is
Here we go.
reason to be hesitant.
Yes. Yes.
Because China is not long term a stable place.
Okay.
They have,
but if China balkanizes on its own, Pete, um, not with CIA help, of course, but if China organically balkanizes and Tibet goes its own way, and so does Xinjiang, how do we lose?
okay, yeah, it's a separate problem. So I
Well,
agree. Right.
well, no, I to Pete's point, I think the Indians see their future to eclipse China. They've never liked China. Their populations are virtually identical. And I think India has better and smarter leadership. Just saying.
Maybe not.
Okay.
There's a sound argument that the Chinese population is substantially smaller than they
Yeah.
than they
Oh, it
publish.
is. It's like 700 million. And so, but what I'm going to tell you is, if you think
It's
that
it's certainly
India,
near a billion, not 1.4 billion. Yeah.
yeah, if you think India is the answer, the way ahead, then and
Oh, I don't think
it's
it's the
that.
answer. I'm
Hold
just
on,
saying I think
stand
the
by.
Indians think that they're the answer.
Hold on, stand by, girlfriend. I'm going to tell you this. We got if you when we start to think about India and infiltration, I would direct you to the H-1B program, and I would direct you to Indian infiltration in the nation.
Yes,
That is much more above board than the below board stuff we see from the People's Liberation Army.
absolutely.
This does not mean
Absolutely.
that I am in any way bigoted. I love the Indian folks. I work with them every day. But what I'm saying is that India also has designs on great power ambition, and the
Yes,
United States
exactly.
can't sit by and not check that. We can't not check that. We have to. Those there needs to be a balance of power. Now, the reason that I don't include them in the ARC arrangement is because India culturally, and I do respect them for this, they ride alone. Nobody's going to call themselves the ally of India because India won't call themselves the ally of you. They ride the
Right.
fence on everything.
But,
And
my point, Blaine, is that for a long time, for back in the 70s, when you and I were just kind of getting our career going and into the 80s, there was a competition, a global competition between India and Pakistan. And the Indians have grown up. They don't think of Pakistan as a competitor now. They think of
right,
China as a
that's
competitor.
true.
So I'm just saying
Yeah, they do. That's
so
true.
I agree with what you're saying. It's just the Indians have maybe an oversized opinion like the Europeans have of themselves. Just saying. So
Well,
Well,
the Indians still have ties to the British Empire. They can say that no, we are a post-colonial country. That couldn't be further from the truth. And honestly, when we talk about the global commons and the globalists and the ones that we're really fighting against, it's the City of London, it's the families that run the City of London banking consortium, and they absolutely have influence over the Indian government as we speak.
no doubt, no doubt. But speaking of that, I know we got to wrap it up because we're over now. But I've been thinking about. Remember, President Trump's been talking about was it counter migration, people leaving. So I applied for it and I got my British teeth in the mail, so
Oh,
I
that's
could go
nice.
be British.
Beautiful. You look like Nigel
See?
Farage.
Yeah, see, I could immigrate now and fit right in. It would be great. So highly recommend British teeth.
But here's the question to finish on a slightly serious note here.
Yeah.
Endgame in Ukraine. What's going to happen here?
Oh, okay. Who's going to go first?
Oh, well,
All
Miami,
right.
terms were laid out. Take the terms, or your entire government's getting wrapped up, and probably most of you aren't going to make it out of this alive. And so we're very serious. This is over. You saw Yermak, that's $100 million. Kids, that's a snowflake on the tip of the iceberg.